Previously on Inmates.
Translated from Zytar, the deck of the ship from before. Commander, we have finally achieved a lot. Good. Where is it? It seems all of the pieces have been reassembled for us. But we are having difficulty finding the exact location of the Archon's Alzandua as soon as we... Someone else goes, Commander, we found it! Where? It is in a human location. Sending it to you now. All hands to battle stations. Prepare for an assault on this Tartarus.
Your eyes flutter open. In the cells of Tartarus, everything is abject silence. The cells are insulated. The cells are designed to be difficult for superpowered individuals of a wide variety of powers to be able to escape from. They are designed to be completely enclosed, completely as impenetrable as they can make them, both getting in and getting out. You know, you suspect that there's methods that they use to keep people who have the ability to teleport from getting out, to stop people who could turn into other forms from walking out. There's a lot that happens in each one of these cells to keep the very dangerous people inside of it. So, Liberator, when your eyes open up and you just kind of laying there on like your just basic bunk in your white room. It's silence outside of the room. You can never hear what's happening outside of there unless they hit the comm. But you're sitting there and you're looking up at the ceiling, and it's a different color than it normally is. There's a tint to it. And you kind of look as your brain's trying to process a little bit, and you realize that it's kind of a gently pulsing reddish color. You kind of sit up, and if you recall, the one wall of your cell where the door is just an entire clear, almost like garage style door. So you sit up to this perfect kind of like observation wall, and you see the main white lights are off, and the only thing on is those swirling red floodlights.
Can I get closer to the transparent wall and have a look out? And maybe try and see if I can hear anything.
You get up and kind of make your way over. Actually on foot, like just stepping kind of forward towards the kind of glass wall. And it's just those emergency red kind of floodlights, which here are more like kind of LED lights almost, that kind of run down the sides. Almost like a weird, like sort of landing strip, more so than like the kind of rotating, but you get the same sort of effect. And you make your way up. And you kind of get right up to the glass, right? Right up to the clear wall. And you look. And the first thing you notice is there's no guards walking by. There's none of the staffers who normally would be, wandering by to deliver food or to, people cleaning, anything like that. Literally no one outside of the hall. You look down either side.
Without seeing anybody, maybe not possible, but I want to see if I can break out.
Give me a strength roll.
Okay, not a bad roll on the die. So my strength, that would be, that would be 27.
Nice.
So you kind of reach, and there's nothing much to grab. And you've seen people punch these things, so you're not going to waste your effort on that. But you decide that maybe you'll just, if you've ever gotten a window stuck in a car, just putting your hands on it and just trying to kind of push it up. And you start pushing. And normally, anytime there's any movement to these, you can hear servos either assisting or fighting against you. You can just feel the weight of it, and then you hear kind of like a grinding sound, and it actually comes up just a little bit, and you kind of get it up till you get about like 6-7 inches of clearance as you pull it up from the and part of you is knowing that this should not be possible. Give me a perception roll.
That's going to be 21.
21. As soon as you kind of breach that seal, you hear a weird sort of sound. It sounds like wind echoing down a hallway. You know what I mean? Sort of this. And you kind of look at that, and you hear sounds you can't quite identify, but there's definitely something happening in the distance. And you kind of get down there, in theory, to kind of get your hands under and lift it up a bit more. And as you're lifting it up more and more, you realize you can hear exactly what the sound is. Somewhere in the distance. The specific pulse rifles of the guards. Somewhere deep in the Tartarus facility. Still no people.
Do I know where everybody else's cell is?
Yes, you do.
Who's closest to me?
Perhaps not surprisingly, Halo.
Alright, I'm going to go bust Halo out.
So you lift it up. And you manage to lift it up. And you kind of step out, kind of tentatively, you know what I mean? And you step out, and you turn and look. And there's no one there's no employees, there's no Tartarus staff in the hallway. You can see all the different cells, all of them still closed. So you kind of look, and you get making your way down just a couple cells, past a couple where you see, the other prisoners looking out, seeing you wander by. Some of them very clearly kind of confused by the light situation, but it's not abnormal given, your kind of special status for you to be wandering around fairly freely. So they don't necessarily freak out, but they're definitely aware something is going on. And you get making your way down. You get down to the cell, and you are, fairly happy to find that you actually get a 2-for-1 deal. Because you get there, and you turn, and you see, Halo kind of pacing back and forth in her cell. And directly across the way, you see Crash. Crash.
Yeah.
Something is wrong. Something is very, very wrong. You don't know what it is, but it spooks you like the storm before it gets there. Like the bird should be flying. There's something wrong. You can feel it in your bones, and there's something strange with your feet. It's like the ground feels weird somehow. You don't know what it is. And you've been, very, very apprehensive. Spooked is really the best word. So you keep looking across. In Halo, you've been pacing back and forth, looking, as you can tell. You two are probably the closest. You can tell Crash spooked, just kind of, you know what I mean? And no one's answering you, and no one's doing anything. But the strangest thing for you, Halo, is you can see Crash. The mirror wall has been deactivated, but your door is still closed. So they have legit turned off the one way.
Have there been any guards running across us, like our cells?
Nope.
Nobody to scan? Okay.
And then walking into view is Liberator.
So I'll motion to both Crash and Halo to keep quiet. I'll look at Crash, and as I go to open Halo's cell, I'll make sure Crash sees exactly how I'm doing it.
Okay.
So he can replicate what I'm doing with his own thing.
Don't even let him, he doesn't have to open all the way the minute it's even, slightly open. I'll drop and roll under.
Okay. Crash and Liberator, give me strength rolls.
Don't drop it on me.
So I roll a d20 and add my strength.
Yep.
It's a 30.
Yeah, so that was only a 15 for me.
I got a
I
30.
half-arse it. I just, let me get you out.
Oh, no.
Too
Oh, whoops,
heavy.
I'm sorry.
Whoops.
Hold on, yeah.
What'd you
That's
get,
about right.
Crash?
30.
You're doing that, and
Crash lifts the
clearly
ceiling on accident.
Halo's cell is oddly even harder to open. Part of you expects that, but given her power set, part of you is like, why would they make it? And you're trying to lift it, and you're like, and then it just goes up easier. You're like, and then you look behind you, and right behind you with his wider arms, right behind you, like you guys are gonna sculpt something together or make some pottery, is just Crash behind you, already opening up his, and it's just you guys forearms,
So
just
if Halo
right
wouldn't mind closing her eyes for 5 to 10 minutes, it'd be great. Enjoy.
Red Rhino time. All right.
Red Rhino.
Is that a horn in your pocket?
Nope.
all three of you. I need to make perception rolls.
15. I got my good rolls out of the way already.
25.
26.
Go team. What about Cypher?
So you're there, and Liberator, something is wrong. You keep getting, very briefly, waves of nausea and vertigo. Just a sensation you don't generally get, but you keep, something keeps happening. Where you're like, and you don't know what it is. You don't know if there's a sound that's doing it. You don't know if there's some sort of smell. I mean, to be very honest, sometimes you forget to breathe.
It's fine.
But there's something amiss that's throwing you off. Crash and Halo, you guys are there. Halo, you kind of get on out, and you're looking around, and like I say, it's just mostly silent. But then you both hear somewhere in the distance, not constant, but you'll hear sporadic sort of gunfire from the guards. And it continues to get quieter and quieter, and it will stop. But then you hear behind you, as you guys kind of step out, and meet with Liberator, you hear behind you, zzz, 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 and you turn and look back, and walking down the hallway behind you, from basically the direction Liberator came from, is Cypher in full armor, hands behind his back.
Without skipping a beat, I just look up at the lights at Cypher and just be like, "Did you do this?"
No, this is something different. I thought Liberator had finally lost it.
I'm here.
Huh.
Now, Cypher, this all went down maybe 20 minutes ago. You immediately recognize the sort of emergency procedures kind of happen, right? And then using your own particular methods, you manage to get your door open. But perhaps the strangest thing is all communication to outside shut off right after you manage to get that door open. Gone. Like, it is just pure white noise. You guys are in this hallway. It's that pristine white of Tartarus, but because the white lights are off and it's just the red kind of like running lights, everything is just kind of, it is a red, almost orangish, and it's like waves of dark as the light kind of goes down the hallway and then comes up behind you.
Don't like this.
Okay, we need to get to Halo's weapons.
Right.
Agreed.
And she kind of looks both ways. Do I remember which way the doctor's office is? Because he's the one that has them, right? Or are they over by the launcher?
Technically, Dr. Mills should have your weapons.
I'll turn to Cypher and go, "You know the way."
Yes, I do. Hopefully, we won't be stopped.
Okay. Let's move.
You guys get making your way down the hall, right? And, kind of navigating by the method that you guys generally understand. You know what I mean? Like, you guys have probably, outside of the actual staff, the best working understanding of the layout of Tartarus. As you're making your way down, like, there's these other prisoners clearly wondering what you guys are doing, because as the longer these lights go on, they're unnerved. You know what I mean? But you guys eventually get to the lab, right?
So, in regards to these other prisoners, right? How much do we know about them? As in, hypothetically speaking, if those cells were to open, how bad would it be for the world?
No.
It's
Halo will fight you on that one.
No, to be fair, it's about as mixed a bag as you guys are, except with a slightly wider variety. There are people in here who are probably just superpowered people who did robbery or this, that, and the other thing, like victimless crimes, so to speak.
Yeah.
Then there are probably actual monsters here. I mean, Crash and Halo have encountered one of these monsters in Tartarus. So it runs the range from people who probably don't need to be here and are only here because they have superpowers, and people who should never be let out.
Should be dead.
Would we know enough about them to know which ones were which?
No. There's no reason for you guys to really know anything about them because, remember, you guys don't do communal time.
Yeah.
This is
and I was a normal person before this.
This is all, isolation. You know what I mean?
Okay, so the plan B is still there.
Yeah.
Just, let's see how this goes first, shall we?
Guys are making your way down. And like I say, you get to the lab. which incidentally is the lab that you usually meet him at, you still don't find anybody in that little bit that you go, short of the people in the cells. And you get to the lab doors, and they won't open. Lab doors are sealed shut. Inside is obscured to you because the little sort of round, almost like porthole style window that looks into the lab is just running with thick red.
Oh fuck.
Okay, big man. Let's get these doors open.
Right?
I would like to duck as
Yeah.
a preemptive action. I would like to duck.
I would like to help by using.
Help in what way?
What I was
Did you wanna
thinking
help?
is, if obviously the way that these doors are they're going to be like, are they push open doors? Are they slide open
No,
doors?
these are slide open.
Can I
These are
try
Star
and
Trek doors.
weaken like around the edges of them by using my lasers to like focus fire and try and weaken
Yeah.
connections?
Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will say, give me a technology roll, Cypher.
Okay.
Crash Liberator, you give me strength rolls again.
Can I?
Yes, Halo?
I know you said the window is dripping with red, but is there any chance that I can like try and peer in to see physically movement and scan whatever might be possibly in the room?
Sure thing.
25.
But also
Okay.
saving an action to duck.
23.
22.
23.
Nice job, team.
What'd you get, Crash?
25.
Okay.
Everybody did really good.
So
Roll a 13.
the two of them, to Liberator and Crash, get to either side and just kind of are working and trying to get some level of their fingers into like the crevice so they can try and pull the doors apart. Working as the established team you guys have been pretty much all this time. The surprise, perhaps, for you guys is when you see that Cypher kind of takes a step back and kind of is looking, and then you see him kind of puts his arm up and then just short pulses of laser at very specific kind of points. And you guys are pulling, and as you guys are starting to pry the door open, it gets substantially easier, as clearly whatever Cypher intended on hitting kind of gives way under the barrage, like whether he was hitting certain locks or maybe he was firing for the servos. But as you start to do that, Halo just kind of stands back and she's just looking, it looks like she's just looking at the red running down the inside of these doors, windows. And inside, you get thoughts very briefly, Halo. There's a lab, there's chemicals everywhere, there's a smiling young woman who you like, and she's pretty and she's smart, and you think she likes you, but you don't have time. You're trying to grow food, you're trying to fix things. And then there's the company denying your research and any more funding to the research because it just doesn't seem to be economically viable. And then you're taking a serum. You're deciding like the betterment of humanity is more important. And then you're watching your deep brown skin crack and split as you begin to grow larger and larger. And then you see a team of superheroes fighting you to a standstill, but sparing you. And then you see the warden floating there, massive, strong, just floating there, kind of like Liberator does, offering him a second chance. And the doors open, And on the ground, in the middle of the lab, is Dr. Mills. I need all of you to give me a will save.
Okay.
Oh. And that's
My
safe.
will is strong.
And that's safe.
I'm trying to find my will.
Find my will to live.
I can make saves today.
Oh, there we go.
Yay!
It is 23.
Okay, Halo?
31.
Cypher?
29.
Crash?
24.
Okay. You guys kind of, it opens it up. And Halo, you're already kind of prepping for it. And you look, there's the lab, right? And in the middle of the room, not far from where the center of where the different pieces of the object were, the stones that you were collecting, is Dr. Mills, devoid of his skin, bits of it just hanging haphazardly off his body, and he's just muscle, in blood, in sinew. You can see bits of his flesh kind of spattered everywhere, and an impossible amount of blood all over. And he looks like the dude who exploded and got really big all the way back when you were fighting the handyman. And he's there on the ground, and he's on his side, but he's tapping on his tablet. The stones, the pieces of this relay, are not there.
I thought this was a bad idea. Sorry.
I want to run over to Dr. Mills and see what they're typing on the tablet.
Cypher gets running on over. Crash, what are you doing?
Are the doors staying open on their own, or do I have to hold them?
Yep.
Okay. Once they're open, he's going to step in and look around for what caused this mess.
Okay.
Sniff around.
Liberator, what are you doing?
Halo, go grab your weapons. I'll stand guard.
Do I know where they are?
Yep.
I will go grab my rings, but I'm also going to tap into Crash mentally. This looks like bad shit. Feels like that should probably be up.
Good plan.
Halo, you get headed over to the weapons locker, and it doesn't open. Like the locker that comes out of the wall that they're in. So you're like, Crash, give me a perception roll.
No, I did not net one, but close.
Oh, net two.
Not 3. 16.
Oh!
Okay, Crash, it smells uncomfortably familiar in here, but in a way that is bad. Like, it smells like danger to you. Something happened here, obviously, but there's a ozone sort of smell that you can't quite place. Dr. Mill's wounds are so severe. He literally burst out of his skin, so you can't really tell with all the ichor what's not. Like, you can smell the blood, the copper, all of that, but there's this weird sort of charge to the air that you can't figure out. And the thing that is perhaps most interesting to you is, like, there is so much blood here, you can't even be certain that it's all his. You know what I mean? You know how big those things get. You know, anyone with the behemoth serum gets. So, I mean, 30-foot dude can make a lot of this blood. But there's a weird sort of charge. Cypher, you get running on over. And he kind of looks up at you. And he looks at you with a shocking... I mean, mind you, his skin's gone. But he looks at you with a shocking level of kind of calm. And he continues to, like, look at you as he's typing on the tablet. And you look down to the tablet, and the tablet says, Tartarus under attack. Evacuation beginning. Zytar forces said, and then he's typing in. It looks like a computer code. He's putting in. He's got the developer sort of tools open, and he's typing something in.
So I sort of turn around and look at everyone. You just hear and go, Tartarus is falling. Zytar's here.
Excuse me?
Zytar has come. We're under attack.
Would I know anything about what Zytar is?
Everybody does.
As you guys have discussed before, that has been brought up. The Zytar were the alien force that invaded back in the 80s that nearly destroyed New York, but the first team of superheroes, public team of superheroes, came together and was able to defeat them and send their mothership packing. They only ever resurfaced one other time, but they didn't make it to Earth. They made it to like the moon. But the Zytar forces were defeated, sent packing, and they've never made it back.
And I think Cypher knows my chakrams are Zytar attack.
But you're recalling this. If anyone at all had alien knowledge, alien expertise, they could probably roll it right now.
Okay.
Yes, please.
So, I don't know how
Expertise,
perceptive
alien.
you are, but you'll just hear probably me muttering something to myself. Almost as if I'm trying to talk to myself. And it'd be like, if now's the time, if you're ever going to help, now's the time.
Okay. 23, by the way.
Perfect fucking time for that. Natural
Was it
20.
Yes!
Okay.
So that, for alien expertise, that gives me a 26.
Nicely done.
Okay. Cypher, give me a technology roll. Crash, give me another perception.
Okay. Technology
I
21.
don't know if I want to take them out.
26.
What'd
We
you
are
get,
killing
Cypher?
it.
21.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm rolling really well.
So,
today.
Halo, the Zytar were, and Liberator, you know this as well. The Zytar were winning by a long shot back in, and it was specifically 80. It was like New Year's 1980, roughly, but it was very much in the beginning of the year they attacked, and they were winning by a long shot. And everyone always wondered why New York City, and the premise is because of the amount of media that was going out at the time, New York City was kind of framed as like, if you saw any sort of media, it was generally taking place in New York City. So there's the common belief is that the Zytar thought that was the cultural kind of governmental capital. So they attacked that first. It was also the largest population center. The Zytar were known to be very fierce reptilian warriors with energy weapons that were circles that they threw and slashed, and they were cutting through everyone. Their attack ships were bombing the city. But the Zytar served someone called the Archon. It was unclear of whether it was religious or not. But it was always weird, that they were winning so hard, and then they just retreated en masse. No one really knows why, short of Vigilant, the first big superhero team to ever be known, came together at that time and fought.
Who was on? Was Titan on that original team? Just
No,
curious.
he was not.
No?
He didn't
Okay.
show up till
Right.
2000.
Later. Okay, I thought so. Okay.
Liberator. The Archon is a psychic entity. He is almost like a psychic parasite. He is a being without a permanent physical form. He has conquered races frequently by taking over their leadership and then just adding them to his empire. Usually kind of burning through them like they don't matter. The thing about the Zaitar is the Zaitar were honorable warriors who, much like a lot of other races, just kind of got taken over and conscripted by the Archon. But the Zaitar, being super honorable, were like, okay, he's beat us, we serve him now. But then the Zaitar lost spectacularly against these primitive Earthlings because the Earthlings didn't play fair. According to galactic knowledge, the Earthlings got aboard the Zaitar mothership and destroyed all the Zaitar eggs. Basically performing genocide of their next generation. And the Zaitar chose to leave to have a chance of having their race survive into the next generation, rather than just possibly go down in flames right there. According to what has been heard over the last 44 cycles or whatever, the Zaitar never recovered and they are a dying race. So for them to be here, most Zaitar that exist anymore are almost like suicide squads. They're like death squads. They are a doomed race. They know they're a doomed race. So that makes it problematic because they can't be scared off. But yeah, no. If they're here, you're fairly certain that that Halo's chakram is either reversed engineered Zaitar chakram or it's a newer Zaitar chakram. But yeah, it's not good. It's not good. Cypher, you look down at the code he's trying to input, and it seems specifically that he is trying but failing, probably because his digits just are starting to fail to work as he is likely dying. He's trying to input an override code for the weapons locker.
Can I reach out and sort of try and help by sort of holding a hand up and try to sort of...
When you reach down, because he's on his side, he just pushes the tablet towards you and just looks at you. And he's silent through all of this. And part of the reason you realize he's silent is his throat has a cut in it from chin almost down to sternum. So you kind of pick it up and look at it, and he just looks at you, and he kind of slow blinks at you. And you kind of like look at him, and you try and finish what he was putting in. You kind of look, you can see it. And put in what you think the code is, hit enter, you know what I mean? And, Liberator, you're at the door, you hear the distinct sound of the weapons locker opening up. Halo, you're there kind of looking at it, and then, you hear him say the Zaitar, and then the locker kind of pops out. The thing opens up, and your case with the chakram opens up. All of that happens. In Crash, you figure it out. The floor is vibrating everywhere. Like, you feel like something is shaking the ground everywhere you're going. And that's part of what's spooking you. Something is wrong with the whole of Tartarus, Crash. Something is happening to it.
You all feel that? Do you feel the ground shaking?
Do we?
Once he points it out to you, Cypher, you don't notice it as much because you're insulated, you know what I mean? But once he points it out, you guys do notice it. It feels... There's a slight vibration underneath your feet.
Okay, so now we have to make a decision.
Yes, Cypher?
As I've got the tablet now,
He has to play.
can I start going through it really quickly? Because obviously, if I've now sort of heard what's going on, I'm going to be like, well, let's fucking find out. And I just start slamming through that tablet as fast as I can to try and find out anything I can.
He's an iPad kid.
All right. So he starts going at that. Go ahead, Liberator.
Right now, we've got a decision to make. We either fight for Tartarus or we move. We get out of here. We all need to be unanimous in this. Crash?
There's bad people here. But there's not all bad people here.
Cypher, someone's is like hitting your boot.
The doctor. Give me
You
my
look
tablet
down,
back.
and he's like trying very weakly, as you know the discussion's happening. He hits it, and he keeps, like, he can barely move, and he keeps, like, very with great effort looking towards Halo.
Okay, so what are you thinking, Crash?
I don't
We
know.
either fight or we regroup.
Oh, I'm about fighting.
Halo?
Are you fucking kidding me? Let's get out of here. Like, I get that not everybody deserves to be here. Trust me, I of all people get that. But these are the Zytar, and this is a jail. We can get out.
I don't know what those are. But we don't have to explain it. I will do whatever you guys do.
It's not the Zytar, it's whoever's behind them. I'm concerned about your abilities and what they're able to do if they manage to take over. But then again, you may be our only key. So...
Well, then let's... If she's the key, then we have to protect her.
I don't know. What about you, Cypher?
He sort of starts pressing on the buttons, and he sort of stops and looks up and goes, well, the Zytar made a mess of this place 40 years ago. If we don't stop them now, if we run away, they're going to make an even bigger mess. And I can't dominate a world if it's been destroyed.
Liberator has been suspicious of Cypher since day one, and nothing that Cypher's done in the past 2 or however many sort of missions we've been on has screamed supervillain. Liberator is 100% suspicious that Cypher is not who he says he is, but he's going to keep that to himself for now and just go, if you say so.
You're the leader. What do we do?
Halo, give me an insight roll.
Okay. She's not very insightful, just so everybody's aware. Oh, 21. Not bad.
You're looking at Cypher as he's saying this. Like, you know, in a conversation, you look at people as they kind of talk, and you look over to
also
Cypher.
In the incredulous way of, like, you think we can defeat the Zytar,
but
for
you
real?
look down at...
Crash does?
To be very honest, the dying man that is Dr. Mills.
Yeah.
And he keeps trying to look at you. And at first you're like, okay, what? And then you realize he can't talk.
Yep. And that's very clear on her face, by the way. It is that, like... And I will... I'll connect with him.
Crash, you hear this. Okay? Liberator, Cypher, like, you guys kind of do that. But you see Halo kind of has the reaction. Then she just kind of lowers her head a little and looks at Dr. Mills. And
Does the
Crash
dog tilt thing a
likely
little?
has a reaction at the same time as he suddenly hears whatever she's hearing. They took the relay. They're going with it. They can extend the Archon's reach to Earth. He will be able to project there. Have to stop them. Have to before the jettison. I tried. I'm sorry. And just black.
Crash will look at Halo.
Do you want to share with the rest of the class?
I don't know how tough these are.
Mills
but,
just flops to his side,
but
eyes still open, looking at Halo.
that's so creepy.
Thanks.
We have to try to stop them. I don't know what all of that meant, but it didn't sound good.
Halo just looks down at her chakrams in her hands now and just kind of nods at what Crash said and looks up at Liberator.
All I know is that the Zaitar work for an entity. And this information, as far as you guys are concerned, this is information that Liberator would know.
Okay.
But the Zaitar work for an entity. And that entity takes over worlds with powers similar to yours.
Archon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And she looks at Mills, but speaking to you still, Liberator, and she's just like, apparently they took the relay for him.
Assuming that can't be good.
Considering Cypher said it was a booster of some sort.
With it, he said project. Here. I don't know what that means, but it's not good.
Okay,
What is this jettison? What is jettison?
Cypher.
Mm-hmm.
You get this map of Tartarus, which in many ways almost reminds you of kind of like an atomic nucleus in some ways, because there's like the central part, and then there's a whole bunch of like shafts that kind of go off. I mean, granted, they have turns, whatnot, but there's all the different cells, all these different squares that kind of branch off from a central point. But none of them go out very far. And all the different cells are starting to light up and have countdowns.
No. No.
And you also see that there's several places which are considered evacuation points, right? Several places which are evacuation points. About 5. 3 of them are offline. Only 2 of the evacuation points are currently online. Communications are being jammed, and the teleportation pads are being jammed. All staff are to go for the evacuation points. It doesn't have any security information of where things are happening, because it seems someone has specifically taken out security, right? Like the security measures. And most of the camera systems have been physically destroyed as well.
Cool. So can I possibly try and figure out and put 2 and 2 together if the jettison is what's been said, and I'm looking at this thing and everyone's got a countdown, that we are possibly on something that may be floating and things are being jettisoned down, or are we somewhere like in a ship, or...
In one specific moment, you look at that, and you look at it, and you looked at it spinning out, and then you went, asteroid. It finally makes sense. You look at the dimensions, you look at everything, you think of the teleportation pads. You're in space.
Fuck.
All of these cells are ready to just be launched out into space. How else could the Zaitar who have not been to Earth get to Tartarus, floating in the blackness of space?
So I now sort of, you see him stop, pull down the pad, just look at everyone and go, does everyone want to know where we are right now?
I mean,
anyone?
What kind of question is that?
We're in prison.
You want to just go ahead and tell us and stop fucking about?
We're currently in deep space on an asteroid, and everyone's being launched into space currently, or will be. We need to evacuate.
We need to recover that relay.
Yeah.
I've got a map.
Halo's in shock.
I've got a whole map of the place. I've got where we need to get out of here. But I will tell you right now, there's no cameras, no security systems working. We're on our own.
Well, we can hear the gunshots. That's what at least we know which way they're headed. And almost immediately she makes this like gag me face, like I did not just volunteer information to go straight for us. It's like, no, I don't want to go.
Liberator. That rushing air sound starts making a whole lot of sense.
You will see Liberator go, we have to work together. There can't be no attempts at anything untoward. You know how serious this is. You need me and I need you. And then I'll turn to Halo and go, connect with me.
And she shits bricks. Yeah. A very long minute will pass where she just kind of like looks at Crash, looks at Liberator. And you know what? I will drop the connection with Crash first before I connect with Liberator. Because I don't trust that.
All right. Crash, you see he says that, and Halo kind of gives you that sort of look of like, and then she looks towards Liberator and connects. Cypher. He looks towards, she looks towards him, he looks towards her. You look down, you assume that the reason all of these cells are so self-contained is because they can jettison them and then just collect them later. The problem is the teleportation pad is down. You're going to need an actual craft. You can't be too far away from Earth based on the teleportation pads. You can't imagine anyone has super good range, so you're probably still within eyesight, of Earth. You're probably, in deep orbit or something like that, right? In far orbit. The problem is now suddenly you realize the 5 evacuation places are probably where shuttles are if the teleportation pads are down.
Awesome.
Hey, now you only have 2. Cypher, you have the ability to call in a shuttle if you need it.
Cypher's got toys.
You understand what that means?
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Back to the connection. Take it away there, Liberator.
So Liberator is not going to resist. You make a connection. It's almost as if, like, you've connected to an empty room. Like, just all dark, but you feel like you are being watched by more than one person. There are 2 presences here, but neither of them are making any noise, as it were. And it'll be just a fraction of a second, enough for you to kind of start to feel uncomfortable when you just hear Liberator's voice go, "Can you hear me?"
Yep.
Good. Keep it up. We don't have comms.
Are you, and again, this is over network, right? She glances at Crash, but again, to you, Liberators, like, is this safe for everyone?
Yes. And then you will hear another voice. "We have reached an accord."
I don't want to be mentally responsible for this shit. Damn.
That's
Crash.
awesome. Yeah.
Halo twitches, and not like a twitch, but like her rings almost kind of like in reflex, like come up, but she stays calm and she kind of like looks at you and nods, and I will reconnect us as a group, and then look at Cypher and just be like, do how do I put this? And I'll just try and connect you, and you'll feel this pressure in the back of your head. I think she's reached out to you once before, but you didn't let her in.
Nope.
So it'll just be that mental knock.
Last time we went out after the explosions and everything, I did connect with you.
Oh, you did? That's right. That's right, yeah.
And the voice was different a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
Are you letting her connect or no?
what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit there and like look across and see what's happened, and then go, has Mr. Two-Face actually considered being part of the same organism right now?
Out loud, I will say, we're all here.
Okay, all right then. And I sort of just
See
open
your,
up.
see your true colours, Cypher.
What's going on?
All right.
Crash.
So you guys
Also,
You guys
what's deep
connect.
space?
Oh, okay.
You guys connect, and Cypher, how would you describe your thoughts to the rest of the group?
It now currently, knowing what he was going to do, it now currently looks and feels like a like a Matrix style screen, like numbers,
Cool.
just green numbers flashing down, like technology trying to work out codes constantly.
That's awesome. Also, because this is the first time the entire group has been connected, just for general knowledge, I work as a switchboard. So if you need to talk to me without the rest of them hearing, just let me know, and I will make sure that nobody else hears what you're thinking. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So basically, Liberator, if you want to talk to Cypher, you can mentally just talk to Cypher. However, all communications go through Halo, so you can talk to Cypher, you can talk to Crash, but Halo knows what you say because she's literally switchboarding it. All right, connected.
This is a lot.
Okay. If all the cells were damaged the way mine was, I'm assuming once these convicts are jettisoned into space, they're not going to last long. But we've got more important things to deal with. Is everyone okay with that?
Yep.
The relay's the first priority.
Yep.
So, whatever means necessary. Do I make myself clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
You won't get any problem from me.
How many people can fit in those escape pods you were saying?
Enough.
All right. Let's go then.
And what you'll have quickly come through on everyone's mind is a map. Like I literally bring the map up in front of me and I share it with everyone in the comm.
Now, Cypher, you presume the evacuation shuttles can certainly can take you guys. All of them are probably required for a full evacuation of the facility. You don't know if a full evacuation also considers the prisoners. But being 3 ships down possibly means that there could be hard choices made. Okay. All right. So there you guys are in this lab, spattered in blood, mills unmoving in the middle. The pedestals where the broken pieces of the relay were, all empty.
Do I get the impression that Mills is still alive at this point, or is he definitely dead?
He's still gone.
So I don't have to put him out of his misery.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how do we find the relay?
Gunfire?
How did we find it previously? We heard it.
Oh, yeah. I could smell it.
Okay. We've got the gunfire, and we've got the fact that the relay beckons to us. Primarily Halo, myself, and Crash. Okay.
Let's go.
All right. Crash, you up front.
All right.
I can provide assistance from behind. I'm faster than the 3 of you. Halo and Cypher, you take up the middle.
Crash starts running.
Yep.
Where you heard the gunfire.
You guys, in kind of like one fluid motion, really. All of you, the communications coming through the mental network super fast. All of you guys like, okay. And again, the good thing is that all of you have some knowledge of how the layout of Tartarus. And Cypher even has the map now. And he keeps kind of like bringing it up in his mind as he's like trying to work stuff out, but also doing that. And he keeps, every now and again, he thinks about a shuttle that is different from the other ones that he's looking at. Like, he keeps thinking about
There's one that he's kind of picturing and one that you think he's remembering, if you know, to understand the difference. So one he's kind of speculating about, but then there's one he knows for certain. Because, you know, you might, Cypher, you might need it. But you guys get going. And Crash, you're in the lead. Do me a favor.
Sure.
Roll me a 10 set.
Sure.
He was ready for that.
I was not
I know.
ready for that.
I know.
Here we go. A 9.
You guys are Russian.
I'm German.
Yeah. Irish myself. Right?
And as you're making your way down, kind of heading, you head by this one cell, right? And there's a dude, like, right at the window, like, waving at you. Well-groomed beard, nice hair that's kind of, like, slicked back, whatnot. Like, and he's in the prisoner uniform, but he's, like, waving at you like he's desperately trying to get your attention, Crash. I don't know if you just run right by him or...
Crash will make a note to send it over the thing back to Liberator, but he'll keep moving until Liberator tells him to stop. He was scolded last time for not following orders, so he remembers. He wants to be a good soldier. He is following orders.
Maybe we had a good moment in that elevator shaft, okay?
Yeah, we did.
I mean, Halo was dying.
Can I use the tablet, if that image has been sent over, can I use the tablet to be able to pinpoint which cell that is and see if there's a file that's logged in with it, so I can see who it is?
Give me a technology roll. Liberator. Just keep moving, or you pausing to see what the guy's doing, or...
I think for now, let's keep moving. We've got an objective. We can't let ourselves get distracted.
27.
Nice.
The man's name is Byron Wells. He is a disgraced CEO of a company by the name of Dynatech, and he is apparently a powerful telepath. He was nearly killed after they found out that Dynatech was performing kind of illicit experiments to give people superpowers under his direction. And he was defeated by superheroes and then kind of took the blame for... Like, Dynatech went, our CEO did it, we didn't know. And he wound up here. But he is apparently a powerful telepath.
And you'll have that information relayed really quickly across the network and go with a question.
Good choice of words, Cypher.
Yeah. Which will be followed by a question, which is, would the telepath help us?
Do we really have time to introduce ourselves at this point?
I think he knows what's going on.
Crash, hold up.
Gives it to a stop.
Fuck. I'll fly over to him.
You fly on over to the door, and he just kind of looks at you. And he looks at you, and he's like... He looks towards Halo and points and goes...
I'm understanding that as a no.
If Liberator's okay with it, I will connect Liberator and him, just the two of those two, separately. So they can talk.
You look, and you try to connect, but you know how these cells are made.
Oh, yeah.
But he looks at it, and you watch his eyes kind of start to flash purple, and then you can hear it, kind of distant. But he manages to push through the kind of like static. Listen, I'm sure you're in a hurry to go hero, but from what I understand, Halo doesn't have the mental juice required to interact with the relay if you're gonna need to. I'm the strongest telepath here now that the old bitch is gone. You let me out of here, I will happily risk my life to help you however it needs to be. But I picked up on the guards before they went wandering off to die. We're about to be jettisoned into space. I don't do well without oxygen.
We'll put it out to the rest of the team.
If we need him, you're fast enough to come back and get him.
Sounds good.
Crash.
Let's go.
Crash Cipher. Crash Cipher,
Yep.
give me perception rolls.
Can do. Ooh, nat 20.
We are golden today.
Well, so far.
We'll fight
Wait.
God.
Till combat. And then
Net 13
Yeah, that's right,
for
it's
a
not
23.
I got a
Okay.
33.
So that conversation is happening, and it's super fast because, again, mental speed, whatnot, and the guy's like looking at him. There's a slight delay slowing it down because of the buffering. And you turn and look, and there's a person across the hall. And what's funny for Crash is you are horribly confused by this person. Cypher, you not as much. But there's a little man in a cell, like in the cell, like a small person, a dwarf, as it were. Super handsome, very Dinklage, super handsome, blonde hair that roots are starting to show, you know, kind of like square jawed, blue eyed, you know, but again, a little person. And he's looking at you guys, and he has like a pencil and like just like graphing paper, and he's like, and he just holds it up to the window. He's like, the man's a salesman and liar. Don't trust him. My spider is in lockup. I can get us out if we have to.
Anybody else feel like they're in Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory with all the temptations?
And he like looks at you guys.
You can't take me.
We're in space, right?
Who is it?
It seems that most of the prisoners are arranged by their super title, right? You don't know whether that's to maintain secret identities. You don't know whether it's a security feature, whatnot. But this one literally says Mr. Mega. Mr. Mega. He apparently was operating mostly out of LA with a super team. He pilots giant robots that he builds himself.
That's awesome.
And he doesn't go by Dr. Mega or anything like that, because apparently he is quick to say that he never got his doctorate, but his background is in special effects and movie making, which is how he assembled his stuff. He is here for destruction of property and attempted theft, but no violent crimes.
If that's the case, Cypher would sit there and go, I'd rather take the Spider-Man. And he sort of points. He goes, can we take the little Spider-Man,
You're like,
please?
okay, you're like, let's go. And then you turn and look, and Cypher's like, I'd rather take him.
Can we take this guy now? And he sort of walks over, combat powers up, and he starts to look at the thing and see if he can push it up the way that he saw Liberator try.
Oh, man.
Because he's not even going to wait. He's going to be like, this guy's going to help us.
Give me a strength roll.
We don't have time to help him get his gear.
That's a nat 20. So,
Oh, shit.
and I've got close combat mode on. So I go into...
Yeah, he goes over, and you watch the servos kind of shift. Liberator, you're kind of looking, slightly annoyed probably, but you kind of look, and he says that, and then and you watch the servos ripple, and he's just like... He doesn't have to lift it much as the little man kind of ducks on him. He's like, thank you. We're on the space station, right? We're being attacked. Long and short of it,
Yep.
Yeah.
he looks directly up at Liberator, clearly knowing who's in charge. They confiscated my giant spider, but I specifically made sure that it was space worthy. I can get probably a dozen people on it if I have to.
Okay.
You get to work on that then.
He
You go
fixes
get
his hair.
You go get your shit. We've got something to deal with.
Okay, listen. I keep hearing a strange sound. I don't know what it is, but I kept hearing a very low frequency thrumming sound, almost like a chime.
Yep.
Be careful. I'm making my way towards the hangar. He's like, And he reaches up and he kind of pulls down the pad in your hand. And he's like, right here. I'm pretty sure is where they're keeping my spider. And one of the rooms lights up.
Awesome.
All right. Okay, let's carry on moving.
He just points and then he gets kind of running with you guys for a little bit, but you quickly outpace him. And you watch as he kind of turns off down one of the hallways behind you.
All right, Crash, let's go.
Yep, Crash is running. He's a good soldier today.
Everybody give me a perception roll.
Nat 1.
Oh!
There it
20
is.
for me. Dirty 20.
23.
19.
Filthy.
Give me just a sec.
Hungry. And I want like ribs. I want like meat. Oh, fuck you.
Unwashed
Okay.
20, as it were.
So, you nat 1. What'd you get, Liberator?
20. Dirty 20.
Yeah.
Grimy 20.
Halo, what'd you get?
Atlas. Or 23.
Atlas?
I got Atlas.
You got an Atlas. I got Atlas.
Okay. Cypher, what'd you get?
I didn't get I got a 19, not a dirty 20. It's just every time I
Okay.
feel like saying that, I just want to rub my nipples and be like, so dirty. So dirty.
Okay. Crash, give me a strength roll.
Strength roll?
Yep.
Oh, that's a nat 20. I'm not.
Kidding?
I am not.
Can't see shit, he just runs through them.
I do.
No.
That's Crash.
But
Yeah.
in this one, Liberator, roll a d10 for me.
That would be a 6.
He's running. And you guys forget sometimes that Crash can't see. And you forget sometimes that he's a little clumsy at times. So Crash just runs. And then at one point, he clearly goes, you can see the hallway that turns to the right that he wants to get to, right? But you think he just hears that he needs to go right. So he makes the turn to go right, maybe about 15 feet too soon. And literally goes right through, nat 20, right through one of the cell doors.
Who was it?
Showering some maybe late teen, early 20 kid in bits of glass. Oh shit, I'm sorry. Oh god, I'm sorry. And he just stands there sits there like this, like on his bunk.
Wrong room. Turns around. Steps out.
He just steps out.
And looks around and squints and then just starts going down the hallway again. My
As
bad.
I'm following, I just point behind us and be like, it's a little dude with a spider. Go find him.
Are we breaking out? I don't want to get in trouble.
I'm probably
Go,
the next
help
one.
people.
Yeah, I'll say I'm probably the next one through, and I'm just like, not breaking out. We're under attack, and I keep running.
And then he looks and then goes, and then he's next to Liberator.
Oh, nice.
Where did you say I needed to go?
That one.
Gotcha.
It's your lucky day.
He just nods and then just gone.
Speedster. Nice.
The rest of you kind of see that happen. You know, there's that interaction. And Crash kind of does that. And Crash goes to turn the corner. And as Crash goes to turn the corner, kind of just trying to correct Liberator, as he's getting ready to go around that corner, you can hear up ahead where he's going. As you hear chakram lighting up, like right around the corner, as clearly someone else heard that.
Let's go, bitches.
Initiative time.
This